Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Hello, testing 1 2. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, thank you, Mr. RF. I know who you are, but I'm not going to say who you are because I know who you are. Anyways, we are on YouTube, I think. Just verifying here. Give me a second. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, I'm gonna make my desktop available. Okay, right on, right on, right on. All right, so we are live on YouTube. Looks like it. Okay, so let me say hello to everybody that's on my Zoom.us, and then we'll get started. Alrighty. Okay, who do we have? BU and RF. Okay, thanks for coming in. I'm going to start my recorder now. Now, just so everybody knows, I'll just give me a sec to hello, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Just going over all our fun stuff. We're going to talk about Chart Director and get that rolling. And just give me a second here. I'm just trying to synchronize my YouTube here. Okay, so you guys can see my screen. Just give me a yay if you can see my screen. That's a Google screen. Just give me a yes if you can see it. Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. RF. Okay, so welcome to our Chart Director demo. We are on our Chart Director demo. I'm going to talk about Chart Director. Before I begin, let me go over to Chart Director itself. Now, Chart Director is what's becoming my chosen platform. It is kind of like a platform for charting. And there's a variety of languages it supports here, as you can see, .NET, C++, Java, ASP, COM, VB, PHP, Python, Perl, Ruby, Cold Fusion. It's also platform independent, will run on Linux, Windows, and of all things, open or FreeBSD as well. So that's a good thing. It's fairly affordable. Let me just show you the product. Okay, so let's say if I was to go with Python, just trying to figure out the pricing of everything. Purchase. And if you come under purchase here, what you'll get is all the different versions. Depending upon what one you want, you can get it as low as $149 for whatever language. And there's also licenses as well to deal with. So it's fairly affordable. So I've looked at a variety of different charting packages, and the one that I like the best is this one because it's platform independent, meaning it can run on pretty well any operating system. Now, if you haven't been following me for a while, I've been running with Python as my preferred language. So I'm going to show you some interesting demos, and let me just first show you the C++. Now, C++ is the more involved language that it supports, but I just want to go over the demos and the links. So in here, I've got all the different links. So you can go to the site here at advsofteng.com, and any of these links will take you to the language support. So the ones I like to use are, my primary one is Python. If you need to do live demos like streaming and whatnot, you can use the C++ version. So this is a C++ version, and it's pretty cool because here it will support MFC, Microsoft Foundation class, which is for Windows, and the older C++ library for Visual C++. So you can have a standalone version with that. If you want to keep your platform independence, operating system independence, you can use Qt. And that will give you the ability to run standalone versions of Qt. And as well as you can do the same thing in Python, which I'll show you in a minute. In that, I'll show an actual version of it as well, and I'll run that live for you. So these are the neat things about Chart Director. For 150 bucks, you get live charting, as well as it's a really easy library to work with, and it's pretty fast if you want to use the C++. So as I said, there is support for the Java version. I do have quite a few Java users out there. And again, you can use a standalone version, which is using this JS chart viewer. I'll show you that in a minute, but that will run under Python to Django. And then I guess you can run under Swing as well in Java, but I'll let you go through that at your own time. So if anybody's got any questions, just jump in. I'm watching the chat on my YouTube as well as on my Zoom. So we got there's about 7 people, which is not too bad. All right. So let me show you what I'm working on for finance. So if you go under the demos that you can easily download, I won't say it's freely available, but you can test it with unlimited usage. The only thing is you get this yellow bar underneath. I'll show you some of the charts, but I'm going to keep them specific to finance. So there's 3 different demos here. So we have here, I'll show you the source code. This is the first demo. Let me see if I'll just load up my Sublime here. So here, it's a standard package for Python. And obviously, you have to go through all the different calls to set up the data, the chart, and whatnot. One of the big advantages I like about Chart Director, if you've used Matplotlib, it's really hard to set properly a date. But here in the dates, specifically if it's string data or whatnot, it's fairly easy to do because you just set a seed on the date that you want to start from and the period that you want to chart. So in this case, I believe, can't remember where it is, the actual charting period that you want. Let me just see here. Okay, so this is a random data that's generated, but you can set up standard open, high, low, and close with the volume. And it's not too difficult. I figured it out in about half an hour. So, and then the other thing is you can add in all these different indicators that you want. So in this case, you can add a simple moving average, the high, low, close data, Bollinger, and then the volume, the RSI, and other easy indicators as well. In this case, momentum. So let me just show you the charts. So this is the first one, which is a PNG. And see here, it's pretty straightforward. So here we have our different averages, the Bollinger, and then the volume here, and then the RSI with the momentum. And you can see here, it's nice and easy to add in the indicators that you want once you set up your data properly. In this case, here's the date stamp. This is the period, how far back we want to go. So I'm not going to go into too much detail with the source code, but as I said, it's pretty simple to go through. But I just want to show you the different charts. So this is the first demo that you can get out of box with Chart Director. And then there's this one. I'll even load up the source code, the demo in my Sublime once again. Again, it's very similar to the previous example. Open, high, low, close, your date here. So in this case, we're starting the date at September 4th, 2002. And the parameters, I can't remember how it works or what the different arguments are. But this is your starting point right here is the date and time that you want. And it's pretty, as I said, it's pretty straightforward. And then here, and we can add on further indicators. So we have a MACD Don Cheyenne channel, a candlestick. So this is a candlestick chart. And then we're going to add in our other simple moving averages. So that corresponding demo looks like this. So again, here we've got the RSI. Hang on here. Is this the right chart? Yeah, I believe that's the right chart. I think the Don Cheyenne might be the channel. And then the MACD on here. But as I said, it's pretty straightforward. It's not difficult compared to other charting packages that I've used, specifically in .NET. But the .NET ones are more advanced. The thing is that they're a lot more expensive. I'm talking about what's called develop. Well, pile of them. I can't even remember the names, but they're going back quite a number of years ago. So, but this one's an affordable one for $150. So that's why I'm going with it, and it's platform independent, which I kind of like. All right. So, any questions so far on those two demos? These are just straightforward charts. Static charts with simple indicators. I could bring up the list of indicators if you want. So if I was to just do chart director, finance indicators, the list of them. And here we got so far simple charts. Yeah, it gets more sophisticated, RF. These are static. Like I said, you can do live charting and streaming as well. So here is the charts I've been showing you. We have interactive ones, which is the same as I'm talking about with the live. So for the money, it's nothing to get all crazy about. But the nice thing is the indicators are pretty good and they're out of box, so it's not too difficult to set up. I'm just trying to figure out where I can find those technical indicators. Let's see. Here we go. So they've really, I mean, the support in this is really stellar. I'll show you the different charts, indicators that I'm using as well. But the support is fantastic. I mean, I've worked with a lot of different vendors, and their support is absolutely really fast compared to other tools out there that I've used. All right, so anybody else got any questions before I move on to the next step? All right, so what I've shown you is just the simple charts that are generated from basically what I've been using. Now, the other thing I mentioned earlier is this yellow bar. This is when it's not purchased. So once you purchase it, and it generates the charts, it will get rid of this yellow bar. So obviously, I'm not using a purchased copy right now. All right. So if there's no other questions, let me know. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is another well, it's slightly sophisticated. Now, as I said, you can run a standalone version of Chart Director. So if I go back to right here, I've put up a list of all the available URLs that I'm presenting tonight. So just go into Chart Director blog. You can get here Chart Director demos and URLs for April 30th webinar with Python C++. So all of the URLs I'm listing are at this post. So you can get that here. So what I'm about to show you is this one, how to run Chart Director with Python into Django for an interactive chart. And this is where you start, things become more expensive, and there's not a lot of, well, there's no other options that I know of that's open source. So you may be able to do this with Matplotlib, but it's not as, you can't develop it as easily as what I'm about to show you. So if you click on that thing here, So I've got a bunch of instructions how to set this up. So you have here where you can download the source code from this URL, from the support URL of chartdir.com. And then you are able to download this file, the zip file called the Django view port control. And then there's all the other instructions. So I got a little video that will show you that. But I'm going to do that right now. So I'm not here to show you how to run the Django, but you do need to install the Django. And I'm always using Python 3. So what we have to do is we have two sessions that we're going to run on two separate terminals. The first one is, let me just show you the project. So the first thing you need to do is, if you are going to use Python, and I'm using Python 3. Typical way to install a package is just do a pip or pip3 and then install. And in my case, as I said, we're using Django as a web server. So you can do pip3 install and install the Django package, Python package. So that's how you can do that. So it's pretty simple there. And in order to run this, and I've got the instructions here in this post, what you do on your first terminal session is when you download this and you get the Django installed, you can then run the web server by running this Python manage and then run server. So that's what I do here. And then what it will do is it'll load up the server. So it's ready to go. And you need to navigate to this address locally. The other thing is you need to start up a project that you want to run. In this case, obviously, we're going to run this chart director, and it's going to serve up some HTML and JavaScript. So I'm by no means an expert in any of that, but this is a command to do it on your second terminal session. So right here on the left, we have our web server running. And then on here, we have our Django that we can run in the appropriate project that you download from that list or that URL. This guy right here, you need to download that and run it once you extract everything and then run the files. So in my case, you have this Django-admin start project website. And then what it will do is it will launch this my site here, I believe. And by default, it's using my site as the project name. So common website conflicts with the name of an existing. And I just had this running here. And so I think I'm by no means an expert, as I said. I think I got to go into website. Okay. Let me just see if I got my project running still. Probably not. So I got to go to localhost 8000. So this is the Django server running as I launched it here. So I believe I got to go into one of these directories here. Probably my site. Let me just see if I can run it from here. Okay, so now if I refresh, it should load up this project. Nope. Haha. So looks like it's not running as I thought it would. I had it running 2 minutes ago. I'll try one more time. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. But I do have a video that will show you how to, no, whatever. Or no, 8000 is it I got to do? And I don't want to spend too much time. Oh, here we go. Ooh, I got it running, finally. Okay, so this is the project I wanted to run. Sorry about that. All right, so any questions so far on this? Because what I'll do is I can pause. But anyways, here's the project. So what we can do here, this is a typical typical chart. In this case, it's this data. So I can zoom in and out, pan through it. I can set up the 30, 90 days, last year, all time. I can drag to scroll down here. Let me just go last 30 days. So I can pan any which way I want. That's the standard Python standalone version using Django as a web server. So have you tried streaming data yet? Yes, that is what I was about to show you, Mr. RF. Okay, so let me show you that. I'm not sure if it's going to be a quick and dirty presentation tonight, but that was something I wanted to show. So if you go to my YouTube channel, just trying to see if I have it here. Okay, so if you go into my YouTube channel here at youtube.com/quantlabs, and just come under here and just do a search on director, it will load up all of the demos that I've had for Chart Director, and it does get a lot more sophisticated. So I'm just going to put the link in there for you, Mr. RF. So here, as I said, I'm running this streaming live data into Qt with Ubuntu, and that's using C++ and Qt, okay? As I said, I'm going to show you some other charts that I use for my own needs. They're static, but you can stream live data if you watch this particular video, and if you're a Windows user, you can also do it using Microsoft MFC, Microsoft Foundation class with Visual C++. So you can do all of that. And as I said, did highlight that in the, so if you go under C++, you'll find here that there is a multi-threaded version, and you can run live charting. But it only works with Qt charts and the MFC library, the Foundation class library for Visual C++. So that's using C++. You can also do the same thing with Java as well, but it's using what I just showed you with the Java, with the JavaScript, and I'm not sure what the server would be, but there's going to be some instructions on how to do that for Java as well. Oh, actually, sorry, it's JSP. So use a more older, and then you have to create a web application archive using something like Apache or a more sophisticated web server. I'm not sure if that helps you out, Mr. RF, but it can be done. And you have to then obviously buy the appropriate product for your language. So in your case, if you're wanting to do, let's say, C++, you just got to buy that particular one for that language. And it's usually about $150 starting at. And then if you want to get a combination of different languages, just get the appropriate one. All right, so that should answer your question. Now, the other thing is, how do I use it? Well, let me just go over that. If you're not part of my quant analytics service, this is going to be now a new item. So in my case, I've been testing these against Dukascopy data, Forex data. So I have here different periods. So in my case, this particular pair here, the AUD CHF 5 is 5 days. So that's how that is. So each of these is 20 days or 60 days. So in this case, we have Fibonacci's, use it with moving averages, signals, and trend. So in my case, if I wanted to show you the Fibonacci, this is the price, and here's the dates all the way back to the beginning of April. And again, it's for 5 days. Let me show you a better time frame. So let's say 60 days. So I'll show you the 60 days Fibonacci. So this is the price action for the last 60 days. And here's the date, and here's the price, and here's the different Fibonacci levels. Now, I had to custom code all this. All I'm doing really is just adding a standard horizontal line for each of the Fibonacci levels, which, as I said, is fairly easy to do. I did it with the support from that, I think it's Jason at the company that makes this stuff. It's very good support. Here's one for the moving averages. So in this case, we have the Bollinger. This is supposed to be the different candlesticks, and for some reason I'm not able to get the green sticks still, so I got to work on that. But here you can get the standard what I showed before with the volume, the RSI, and the momentum. And I'm sure I can get this fixed. And here's all the different periods that I'm using for my averages: SMA 20, SMA 50, and EMA 200. And again, these are just standalone charts, but these are just for simple visualization. And then this one's really good for signaling. So in my case, what I'm doing here is I'm using different crosses and buying and selling signals based upon different crosses. And here we have a sell signal. And then if I want a buy signal, it's just using these two different SMA periods of 5 and 20. And then also I'm able to build a simple trend line. Again, it's just a simple call from their API. And in this case, it's from February all the way up till mid-April. So that's what I'm using it for. It's not very difficult to work with this stuff. But the thing I like about it, it's the multi-language support, as well as all the technical indicators that you get with it are really brings a lot of advantages, as well as it runs pretty well on any operating system, as I mentioned, as well. It's really affordable, and that's pretty well the whole thing. Anybody else got any questions on this so far? It's a almost half an hour. I knew it was going to be a pretty short demo, but I just wanted to show you what I'm using now as my charting. And it's not a lot of rocket science and busy stuff, but it does the job. But for the money, it's pretty easy to work with. And as I said, for me, any new product I like is the support, and their support's quite good. So that's pretty well all I want to show you. As I said, I've given you the links of where the URLs are for to help you out in setting everything up. If you're interested in this, you can easily download your own demo version of this, and it's pretty good. Anybody got any questions, comments? I'm going to hold out because I'm seeing that my YouTube is out of sync. So I'll just blab a bit. And hopefully, if anybody on my YouTube wants to ask a question, by all means. How does this charting will be integrated into my FX strategy? Well, what I'm doing is here for the strategy itself, I'm using 3 periods: 60-day, and these are trading days, working days, which is a quarter. Sorry, actually, there's 4 periods. This is a full year of data that I'm able to track: a quarter by 60, 20 monthly, and then the weekly for the 50-day. And what I'm doing is right now I am using these different indicators as a combination to be able to mark my entries and exits based upon these charts. The one that I use a lot and rely on is the moving averages. So if I look at, let's say, the 20-day moving average, here I can get an idea on the moving averages. So I think I need to look at a 60-day moving averages, and then I can use these crosses in here on the SMA and the EMA as a way to confirm entries and exits. Or I can also use this right here, the signals chart, on my buy and sell signal. But these are typically entries and exits based on that. But I'm building out more sophisticated charting on top of that. I have patterns that I've got working using harmonics patterns, and I've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks. There's a combination of charts that I'm using to measure my entries and exits, as well as my automatic exits as well, using ATR as my exit indicator. So hopefully I'll help you out, Mr. RF. But these are just demonstrations of all the different types of charts that you can generate from these. But usually I'm using the harmonic patterns as a measuring, a way to filter out all the noise of all these charts. And on top of that, I can also generate, if I stick with Dukascopy. You can do the same thing for, as you can see here, commodities, as well as equity, stock indices, whatever Dukascopy provides for me, I can use and develop charts on that and use those charts with a combination of different indicators to mark my entries and exits. So that's what I'm using these for. And I'll be adding these as part of my presentation for this analytics service that I'm doing. So that's pretty well it. And if you need to know the type of assets that we're dealing with, we've got here treasury, gas, and remember these are CFDs. These are not actual future contracts, but these are CFDs provided from Dukascopy. And I've got copper, Bitcoin, Brent, and gold and silver. And then if I wanted to do equity, I could do that as well. By I think about 35 different, about 30 different instruments for the different equity. So I could track, can't remember half of these. So we got Great Britain, France, different sectors. We can do US, S&P 500. We can do the top 30. We can do ones on tech only, and various different sectors on ETFs and indices. So that's what I'm doing there. And we also have the currencies as well. So right here is the currencies, all the different pairs that I have access to. Actually, it's a lot more than that. It's almost 100 pairs that I have access to once I get the account set up. But the data source may change. I may, fxcm is trying to hunt me down. So they're giving me some interesting account information. So I might switch over to fxcm from Dukascopy. But we'll see how fxcm goes. I have an actual talk getting scheduled with fxcm on May 20th. May 22nd, which is a Tuesday at the same, at 6 o'clock, I believe. Kev asks, have you started your automated Bitcoin trading? No, not yet. I'm trying to get through all that, but I keep getting stuff thrown my way. I'm going to be funding the account fairly soon, hopefully this week. What I'm planning to do is go with 2 sources, Binance and BitMEX as well for the derivatives of crypto. I'm not sure if you participated in my survey on the Facebook there, the group, but somebody added stocks as an asset class or set of instruments that I should watch and focus on, and that was number 1. But surprisingly, for the same amount of people want me to do the cryptocurrency, 100% only cryptocurrency. So that's what I'm going to focus on, because that's where the attention is. Forex is dying, and that's due to trade wars, as well as cryptocurrency seems to be killing off a lot of the Forex trading out there. And right now I'm not prepared to go into options or futures, just do the account size. So I want to stick with cryptocurrencies for now. There's a lot of money to be made in cryptocurrencies. I know one guy last year, I mean, it was an anomaly, as you know, with Bitcoin. He made over 100 grand in profit, 17 grand in May, walked away 120,000 in December. And that was just one trade that he made and just sat on it. So you can do fairly well with crypto. So that's going to be my focus. Any other questions out there? Originally, I was wanting to do a Forex, but when I started realizing how tight the spreads were and you needing leverage and high risk to get paltry returns, it just made more sense to go with cryptocurrency. And right now I'm just going to fund it in a very tiny amount. So when you're starting out, you better be prepared to lose it all. So it's better to start with next to nothing and, be able to take the hit if it doesn't work out. Any other questions? I'll hold on. We had a bunch of people on, and then it just suddenly dropped off. Anybody else got any questions? So next week, I'll be doing my meetup here in Toronto. And then I believe the following week, as I said, not sure what fxcm is going to do. They've got the date scheduled. It's going to be in downtown Toronto at the Marriott courthouse. It's fairly near to if you're familiar with the Eaton Center. They're going to be presenting and sponsoring it. I'll be doing a talk for about half an hour. And then I know Dr. Ernie Chan will be the featured guy. That will be about an hour and a half talk he's doing on his results with the fxcm data. Apparently he's done a webinar with them already on the same topic. So he's going to do it live with them in Toronto. And I'll be the, I guess, opening act for it. Anybody got any questions on that? That happens again, Tuesday, May 22nd, between 6 and 9 p.m. I haven't posted any info on that yet, but also I'll be putting this webinar playback as part of my course for the Python version 3 course. So this will be added into my finance or my chart director section, which is the last module. Anybody else got any questions? If not, I'll tear it down. I'll hang out for a minute or two to let the YouTube folks get caught up. If you have any other questions in the meantime. Oh, do you know if any streaming will be done during the event? Oh, Mr. RF asked, as far as I know, I was told that they're going to try to set it up for live streaming. I'll let people know if it happens or not. I did ask if it will be recorded. He said yes. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get a copy of it. If not, I'll do my presentation, obviously, to the live crowd. If I'm not able to get it streamed that time, I'll just present separately through these webinars, the talk that I'll be presenting. I might even actually do that and maybe get even Ernie to do his talk as well as a separate one, because apparently I'm not sure if it's the same one he did at QuantCon in New York in the last few days. He's a pretty busy guy. I'll be seeing him at the end of May. So don't be surprised. There'll be some videos coming out of that too. Or if any of you have any questions for Dr. Ernie Chan, that'll be taking place on May 28th, I believe. And that'll be during the day. We're not sure yet, but we've got the date locked down for May 28th with Dr. Ernie Chan. But I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. Anybody else got any questions? Anybody? Woohoo! But I'll try and see what I can do for the fxcm. And I'm going to be actually fooling around with the fxcm data and the API or the Python package actually in the next couple hours. And I'll put up a video on that as well. And then I might have another separate module for fxcm in my Python 3 course. So it might be a new module added. Anybody else? Questions, comments, critiques? Anybody? No? Okay. Not sure. I'm going to do a going once, going twice, 3 times. And I'll be making this video private. So if you're part of this, cool. But like I said, I'm going to add this playback as part of my course for the Python 3 course that I just did about, I don't know, a month ago. Anybody else? No? Okay, I'll do it going once, twice, 3 times. Nobody else got any questions? We'll hopefully get another topic next week. I actually might be pointing towards fxcm, the Python package for that with fxcm. Anybody? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, I appreciate everybody coming out for tonight. And we'll talk to you soon. And hopefully I'll have something next week if you're on my email list. Have a good night or day. Later. Have a good day. See ya.